perspective on evaluating the not-for-profit. So imagine this room, we have a table, and we have our committee members, and the number varies. Let's say 12 people or so, whatever the number is, plus the trustee. And the people are from, everyone's from New Trier Township, so that's the commonality. And but they may be from Wilmette, or I'm from Glencoe, and any different village. And then we have the different agencies come in, and we get the information and the requests. So we get different perspectives on, and the people on the committee bring their own ideas and thoughts and their experiences to the table, and we encourage them to share with the committee what their perspectives are, what their thoughts are, what the needs of Glencoe, in my case Glencoe, or the whole New Trier Township, the needs for the villages they're in, what they're seeing. So we get different perspectives. My committee is the oversight, agency oversight committee. I have to look because I was used to it through the years, like the human services type committee. And as the trustee had mentioned, we get the youth services, so they have certain needs. We have aging in place, or North Shore Senior Center. When I say aging in place, I'm thinking about meals at home. We have volunteer services and great non-for-profits coming in, but we have finite resources, only so much money to give to each. So I hope I'm making sense on what I'm saying. So it's different perspectives coming in, and what the needs are, looking at the outcomes, how well run the agencies are, their reserve levels, the level of service to the residents, that's a very big factor, the quality of service, the needs for the community. So these are some examples of the perspective, and I don't need to talk so much, let the fellow chairs talk, so thank you.
Ann.
I think this is where you say ditto. Because I think that is true for our committee also. And on our committee, we're able to have a lot of family members, of individuals who have disabilities, who are residents here in the township. But we also have individuals on our committee who don't have any personal connection to someone in their family, or knowing that kind of a close connection to an individual with disabilities. So it really does, again, speak to the issue of wanting to have a broad perspective from the township and people's views on how everyone is viewing what type of services need to be provided, or that we want to provide in the township with the limited resources that we do have, to individuals with disabilities. How do you help individuals live that fullest life that they are able to possibly live, and how does that the township step forward and help with that? We have several different agencies that we've had really the benefit and the honor to work with for years, who've served a tremendous number of residents from New Trier Township. And we also have new nonprofits that are providing services within the township also. So a lot of the things that you hear us discussing will be, what are the trends, what is best practice, what are some of the new legislation that's come down that's really impacting individuals with disabilities, and how will that change the type of services that need to be made available to our young residents. So I think that, again, is that balancing of how many resources, how much you can do, how many residents are served, what type of broad services, the broadest type of services that we can provide for individuals who will have broad needs. You know, no one individual has the exact same needs. So how do we create opportunities to cover the whole township? So I think that's pretty
Chad, let me ask you, so the committees have to look at several perspectives that Janet and Anna talked about.
Right.
Sometimes we look at services to individuals, but sometimes we look at services to the community as a whole.
Right.
How do those perspectives sometimes differ on the committees?
Well, again, I mean, like for our committee, we serve a wide variety of agencies, from family service to some agency helping sexual abuse children, to some agency doing a lot of outreach programs and such. So again, I mean, in our committee, we have members from different walks of life. We have a social worker, we have someone have children have some mental issues, we have someone with a business background, and we have someone that's studying to be a school psychologist and all that. So that bring a very wide variety of background to our community here. And again, I mean, because of that kind of background, we always look at all agency from a different lenses, so to speak. So like some of us look at it from a financial standpoint, from how they perform on their annual P&L standpoint. Some of them look at how they serve the community as a whole. And sometimes we get the balance. What's the need of the agency versus the need of the community? And sometimes, I mean, maybe the agency really don't serve the community last year. But then again, you look at it, do we have a need for the agency in the community here? So even though they might not serve a lot of members in the community last year, but then the decision really comes to, do we have a need for that kind of community agency in our community here for next year? So if that's the case, then we'll support the agency, even though that's not a big need for the previous year. But we always look into the future and see how we can help the community to do better, to have agency that serve the community members. Does it make any sense?
Absolutely. Ann, I'll ask you, what do you think the definition of a healthy community is? And how can the township better assess whether and how a community is healthy?
Well, if you're asking me, really sitting on the committee for Money Follows the Person, where we really focus so much with how do you help individuals with disabilities and their families create those full lives in our community. To me, what is healthy, the more integration that you find, all the studies really support, the more you can have individuals part of our community, because they are part of our community, individuals with disabilities, and they will live longer lives, happier lives, and healthier lives. So it's really making sure that our communities open their arms and allow individuals with disabilities to have those same opportunities that we allow every other resident to have in the community. And that, I think, following that perspective is what really will make us a stronger, healthier community.
Jen, from a mental health perspective, what would the definition be of a healthy community, and how do our agencies help us achieve that?
Well, again, I mean, because of all the agency support within our Neutral Township, with their help, they will really build a very stronger, healthier community, such as, say, for example, all the family service. They really provide a very good service to all the community members. I mean, face it, I mean, as a general population, we all have some issues, but because of the township support, we have those agencies that is present in the township there that can help us as a community build a healthier community within our stay here. And I think, I mean, because of all that, the community I think we live in is really, compared to a lot of other community, I think we are very healthy because of the support that we have here.
Janet, last question for you. How do you think we can get more people from the community involved in our committee process?
Hi, wait, can we get some volunteers?
We sign them all up here.
From my experience, yeah, the door's locked until you say yes, please. Well, no, I don't. That's a joke. No, it's been a great experience. I'll share from my perspective, and it's been a great experience doing this, and I've been on different committees, and would highly encourage everyone, if you would like, to look into it and to join. And Brian's been so helpful. I've learned so much, and to know what the not-for-profits and looking behind the scenes. How does the not-for-profit work? And it's been a great experience. So I just personally would encourage volunteers.
Those of you we are currently looking for members on our township committees, the Money Follows the Person Committee, the Agency Oversight Committee, and the Mental Health Committee. There are applications back there for anyone who's interested in serving on a township committee. It's a wonderful opportunity to learn about the needs in the community, to have a voice in allocating The bulk of the township dollars, as we mentioned, are allocated out in the form of grants to local nonprofit organizations. And we depend upon citizens from the community to review these organizations, to make decisions on funding, to make recommendations to our board. We would encourage anybody that's interested to get, this is a way to get involved. We meet one night a month for about 6 months out of the year, and then in November it's a pretty intense schedule where you would meet probably once a week for a 4 to 6 week period, reviewing proposals, having discussions with fellow committee members, meeting the agencies. During the year we go out and do tours of agencies, we have discussions about needs in the community, we get reports from the agencies, and we follow up with what some of our recommendations were to these agencies throughout the year. Committees also will periodically receive requests from new agencies in the community. That's handled a little bit differently. And so those of you who aren't familiar with the not-for-profit landscape in Newford Township, it's fascinating. There are many, many agencies in the community that are meeting the needs. We have kind of a unique perspective here in the township, is that we don't offer very many of these services ourselves. We fund organizations in the community that offer these services, and many of these organizations are very dependent upon the township for funding. Anything any of you would like to add in closing?
I would just really encourage people to consider it's limited. It's not a huge commitment of your time, but every voice that we can have from around the township sitting on these committees makes it a much richer and much more inclusive process for all the residents. So I would really encourage you to think about it.
Thank you.
Thank you.